So it's important to always look on the bright side of life. Sure, $8.5 trillion seems like a lot of money. And the housing crisis seems really bad. But something from the future started cropping up recently. Communities that traditionally did not exist in geographic specific areas, widespread people that consider themselves part of the same group, they just don't live near each other, are going to start a reasonably massive migration. I guarantee there will be a very cheaply purchased city block of punk rock kids somewhere in Chicago. And they will actually influence local politics. And with housing so cheap and jobs so scarce, people seem willing to roam about a bit. And people want to go where they know people. It's a natural progression. Now, we've seen this starting to happen already. Entire areas of some major metropolitan cities are considering themselves micro-cities. Technically, they're arguing for their own jurisdiction because they consider their culture, generally, there's lots of people, is alien enough that they should be allowed their own laws, and it doesn't matter what arbitrary borders they're in. Which can be argued. You got 500 people that have more alike with each other than anyone else, they would prefer to govern themselves. So, the smooth migrations that are coming, and very exciting ones at that, are going to provide all kinds of really interesting new opportunities. Because the types of people that pay enough attention to their own lives to be able to do that kind of shit, find 20 motherfuckers that they agree with to some extent or another and try to move near each other, are alright. So, that's part of the culture of the future that we're starting to see, desperately screaming for the culture of today to birth it. Because really, when you think about it, any culture, any way of treating each other, any way of thinking that's more than 1,000 years old, well, it's probably not going to give you solar panels or a flying car. And if it does, it'll enslave you with it. We need to look to the future, not to the past. Now, something that I've been thinking about when we talk about, well, culture war. It was always alien to me when I did the reading about racism in the 1700s and like the modern gay rights movement that exists today. What's the big deal? I never understood what the big deal is, but I figured it out. It was a preemptive strike. It's a culture war that started without people even realizing it had been going on. And it's probably a good self-preservation move to really, to really put it bluntly. And when you think about it, ideas could be weaponized in a culture war. If you've got a way of outlooking to life in general that is radically alien from someone else's, wow. I assume their natural progression is to start trying to dominate each other. Though hopefully, future kind won't need that shit. I'm not banking on it. But I'm sure steps in the right direction. Looking towards the future instead of the past for answers. The programming of ancient human beings has done us well to now, but there seems to be a leveling out point that isn't so great. I mean, certainty of the future for the entire human race, that's achievable. At what sacrifice would we sacrifice that? And if the answer is well, anything, then we think alien. Because at all costs. So weaponizing ideas. The one I pointed out earlier is the most common idea I think that could be utilized. Whenever someone acts nervous, when anything homosexual comes up, and you point it out and make fun of them for it. And they say things like, yo, I've had guys hit on me before, man. That shit's really happened. You go, oh, I bet that happens all the time to you. Because it's an alien thing, because someone saying they're a homosexual, to me sounds like they don't like pickles. They like extra mustard on their sandwich. I mean, they prefer unleaded gasoline to some kind of super premium. It's fucking something completely inconsequential. Their favorite color is blue instead of red. And for someone to make a deal about that, oh god. You attack them with your weaponized not caring about that. And you don't accept it because you're trying to vanquish it culturally. Now, what's one man gonna do even on top of a thing with a bullhorn? But oh wait, what can 500 do? They all happen to live near each other. Thinking about the voracious culture of the future that faces us today, and will do our jobs better. Oh yes. And it will be more free. Because it's alien to start nitpicking. If someone stands and says, let's make the world a better place, the first reaction isn't to prove them wrong. It's to prove them right. And people have good ideas, though they're not taught to live. But that will have to change. And hey, 500 people in a city block, why? That's a couple kids. One never knows what our kids' will be like, especially when they can get new livers as shots down at the gas station.